Hello everyone. Welcome to the 11th seminar of Pakistan Catalyst Society. And today's presenter is Professor Muhammad Bilal, and title is a synthesis and characterization of nickel sulfide nanoparticle and its environmental applications. So we welcome Professor Muhammad Bilal for the presentation. So please start.
Thank you, Asif, for the opportunity to present this research work of my student, Mr. Muhammad Yunus, who presented in the last week. So the title of today's presentation is Synthesis and Characterization of NIS, Nickel Sulfide Nanoparticles and its Environmental Application. As we all are aware that in today's time, the most critical challenge to the scientific community is, and to the population is, rising global temperatures. And these temperatures are rising only because of the uncontrolled greenhouse gas emissions. And these both things, they are leading in the increasing frequency of extreme weather events, and they are harming together the natural resource and biodiversity losses. So the depletion of natural resource and the biodiversity losses, basically biodiversity and natural resource, they are the signs of life on the Earth planet. So we must all focus toward the solution, how the scientific community can tackle the rising temperatures by capturing the greenhouse gases and converting them into useful products. So this will aid not only this will aid in stopping the release of greenhouse gas emissions, and also on scalability they will be providing the alternative solution to the world. So amongst catalysis could be a potential pathway to sustainability by capturing CO2 and its conversion into useful fuels and chemicals. Green hydrogen production could be the alternative for water splitting, and as well as for the energy. And sustainable fuels, yes, they are that will be the main product for potential utilization in transportation as the energy resource. So all these approaches could lead the scalability of the catalyst for energy transformation, and alongside the machine learning, yeah, it could be the potential in the catalyst design. So all these efforts, collaborative efforts, could lead for scalability and cost-effective solutions to tackle the issue of the climate change. So in this regard, we have also synthesized metal sulfide nanoparticles on lab scale. These metal sulfide particles possess good electronic band gap, energy levels, exposed active sites, high photosensitivity, large specific capacities, low redox potential, low melting point, nanocrystalline morphology, and long life compared to metal oxides. Among the various semiconductors, sulfide semiconductors with a wide band gap have been regarded as promising photocatalysts since they present a good photocatalytic activity in the long band of visible light. Nickel sulfide has been considered a beneficial photocatalyst because of its high active nature, photochemical stability, non-toxicity, low cost, and band gap energy within the visible region. And nickel sulfides exist in various phases as depicted here. So we've followed this methodology, chemical precipitation method for the synthesis of nickel sulfide nanoparticles. This was the so among the characterization techniques, we employed SEM, EDX, UV-Vis, fluorescence, hydrodynamic size and zeta potential were calculated through dynamic light scattering, FTR for functional groups identification, as well as X-ray diffraction for crystallite size determination. So as far as the results are concerned, here we are showing the XRD and FTR spectra of nickel sulfide nanoparticles. On top left side, graph show the crystalline size, a table show the crystalline size, average crystalline size, and Miller indices of nickel sulfide nanoparticles. And we obtain the 7.08 nanometer per crystallite size. On the left side figure, it's showing the spectra of nickel sulfide nanoparticles in blue, while red line represent the dye adsorption on the nickel sulfide nanoparticle, how the spectra change, and the black one shows the treated RB5 dye through photocatalysis and nickel sulfide nanoparticles by the nickel sulfide nanoparticles. SEM images we obtain through SEM particle size 57 nanometer as it depicted top, and the shape is irregular shape. And we confirm the composition of the NIS nanoparticles through the EDX spectra. Well, UV visible spectra confirm the formation of nickel sulfide nanoparticle at when the wavelength when the excited at 226 nanoparticle absorbance, and at the same absorbance we done the fluorescence, excited the solution at 226 nanometer, and we obtained the following spectra: NIS, NaCl, Na2SO4 using the inorganic salts, AgNO3, and calcium chloride. Here we checked the how the inorganic salts they affect the NIS properties, and for its potential application in the photocatalysis of the reactive black 5 dye. We also perform the computational studies of the reactive black 5 dye. Here we can have a look on the most stable and predominant tautomer of the reactive black 5 in aqueous solution with energies minus 2747 kilocalorie per mole for the azo form on left side, and while the increased energy, interaction energy on the right side, red circled, that is 2792 kilocalorie per mole for the hydroazo form. So for this study, semi-empirical method was employed using PM6 approach to optimize the geometries of both tautomers of RB5 dye and to assess their interaction energies with NIS. The result confirmed that hydroazo form has favorable energetic properties for interaction with NIS. NIS was positioned at various sites on the hydroazo form of reactive black 5 to evaluate the interaction energies. So the interaction at NN position showed a significant interaction energy of minus 76.19 kilocalorie per mole on the central position. So this figure represents the homolomo plots of optimized nickel sulfide cage structure and band gap. On extreme left side, you can observe the NIS HOMO side view, then NIS LOMO side view, and the band gap energy was determined, that is 2.11. And this confirmed that this material could have a potential application for the photocatalytic degradation of the nickel sulfide, of the reactive black 5 dye. So this is the typical photocatalytic dye degradation mechanism in which we can have a view of the band gap energy 2.11 as we determined through computational study. So at both the process could be active on valence band oxidation and in conduction band reduction of oxygen for superoxide radical generation, and both these radical could mineralize the RB5 dye and finally can convert into carbon dioxide and water. So as far as photocatalytic study of nickel sulfide nanoparticle toward are concerned, so at first we applied the dynamic light scattering to determine the zeta potential by varying the pH of the solution containing the nickel sulfide nanoparticles. And we can observe from the slide that with increase in pH, zeta potential stability, that means stability of the nickel sulfide nanoparticle decreases with increase in pH. Well, and on the right side, figure B is showing the hydrodynamic size of the nickel sulfide nanoparticles, nickel sulfide of the dye molecule, and then after adsorption of the dye molecule on the nickel sulfide nanoparticle, the hydrodynamic size increase. And finally, after mineralization through photodegradation, the hydrodynamic size again decreases to the almost basic level of the nickel sulfide nanoparticle. And figure C shows that the zeta potential stability, NIS is the most stable. Under dark condition, the zeta potential, when the dye is adsorbed, the stability get lower through adsorption, and upon the degradation, again the zeta potential shifted towards the positive side. And on the last one dye, it showed the zeta potential surface charge, positive charge. So with the so that this shows that the adsorption of dye could lead the shift the nickel sulfide charges from minus 16 towards, for example, minus 8. So we determined the when the dye is added in the solution, upon aggregation, it may have the positive charge that we confirm through the zeta potential, and it is aligned with the left graph. With increase in pH, the zeta potential decreases. Electrostatic interaction. This graph confirms the photocatalytic degradation of reactive black 5 dye molecule using NIS nanoparticle. And here we can have a clear view that with the absorbance, we took the spectra of initial solution, and after photodegradation, absorbance is quite near to the zero. So this shows that the dye degraded through photocatalysis, and the same result we have depicted on right graph, where the photocatalysis catalyzes the dye by 92% almost. So this is quite clear. Here, figure A represents the increasing dose of the nano nickel sulfide particle, how it influences the rate of reaction. So initial 30 minutes, the adsorption, we normally leave the sample for the contaminant to be adsorbed. That was in reactor black 5. So, and with the increase in the irradiation time under visible light, the um, the whole dye almost degraded. And figure B, here we have observed if we increase the concentration of the dye in the solution while keeping the adsorbent dose constant, so we can clearly observe that with the increase in irradiation time, the maximum degradation was observed when the dye was 20 milligram per liter. And when we increase the dye, that photo degradation decreases. And similarly, figure E, it reflects the potential influence of the pH. So upon varying pH from 2 to 10, we can clearly observe that the photocatalysis of the dye decreases with increasing pH. Yeah, photocatalysis of the dye increases with irradiation time and with the increase in pH. So at higher pH, that pH is normal for the textile wastewater. So such material show the potential application for the real wastewater at higher pH. And figure B, it on lower side of the same slide, percent removal of RB5 dye. So we can clearly observe what we stated above. And similarly, the central figure, we observe the removal of reactor black 5 with irradiation time. Yes, it is clearly showing that lower concentration of the dye degraded 100%. And the varying the pH. So similar, we observe the result that with increase in pH, the degradation efficiency of the nickel sulfide nanoparticle for the reactor black 5 increased. So in this slide, we performed the because the textile wastewater normally contain the salts in its composition, because such salts are usually used for the color fixation in the textile industry. So we selected few salts like silver nitrate, calcium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium chloride as a proxy of the salts, how these salts could affect the degradation of the dye, and how these salts, upon interaction with the nickel sulfide nanoparticle, how they affect the hydrodynamic size and how they affect the stability of the nickel sulfide nanoparticles. So figure A, it shows that hydrodynamic size was least in nickel sulfide nanoparticles. So when we add silver nitrate salt, the hydrodynamic size increases, and maximum hydrodynamic size we observed when the NaCl was interacted with the nickel sulfide nanoparticle. And on left side, the stability, what we observed, the lowest the hydrodynamic size, the most stable is the nanoparticle. So as we observed lowest hydrodynamic size of the NIS, we observed highest stability of the nickel sulfide nanoparticles. So, and the lower particle was least stable when it was interacted with sodium sulfate, because the zeta potential shifted towards the positive. So the lower figure, left figure, it shows the photo degradation. So when we applied the salts along with dye, when both were interacted with NIS, so we observe the increase in hydrodynamic size while the degradation proceeds. So this shows that probably the mineralized products of the dye, they also, as well as the salts, they are responsible for the increase in hydrodynamic size. And well, on the right side, we observe the zeta potential of NIS with the degradation. So maximum degradation we observed with the NaCl. Okay, so the material also become unstable. Okay, but the degradation was also when the material was interacted with the salt and dye. So here in this slide, with the effect of different inorganic ions present in wastewater on the photodegradation of RB5, so we can clearly observe that maximum degradation of the dye was occurring in the presence of sodium chloride salt. So probably that we are still exploring this mechanism, and the minimum was observed when the silver nitrate was interacted with the NIS during the degradation of dye. So nitrates could play anti-photo degradation role, and chlorides could play synergistic effect on the degradation of the dye through NIS. So here we are trying to know that whether chlorides they are present as chloride radicals. Are they directly participating for the degradation of the dye, and or chlorides they are maybe they are the potential source, along with they are interacting or they are splitting dye by increasing the hydroxyl radical generation. So when we added on left side scavengers to know the potential production of the hydroxyl radical, so we observed that IPA scavenge maximum hydroxyl radical production as compared to PEG scavenger. So regarding the recyclability, we recycled our material till 5 cycles, and we can clearly see that the our material can be effective about 87% degradation till the 5th cycle of its recyclability. So this material, what we suppose, have the potential to be utilized for the degradation of the dye. So to conclude, nickel sulfide nanoparticle photocatalyst was ranked as an efficient heterogeneous photocatalyst for decolorizing RB5 dye, a representative pollutant for textile wastewater. surface charge of the nanoparticle in the presence of different inorganic ion salt solution like sodium chloride, silver nitrate, sodium sulfate, calcium chloride is varied based on the polarizability of the ions as well as pH of the medium. In addition, we found that particle size and the surface charge of the NIS nanoparticle influence degradation efficiency by affecting the pollutants molecule adsorption on its surface. Moreover, different inorganic ions present in the wastewater system alter the surface charge of the photocatalyst by forming a double layer around the molecule and thus change the electrostatic interaction between the dye molecule and the catalyst surface, which ultimately changes the efficiency of the photocatalyst towards the photo degradation of the RB5 molecule. And organic scavengers like PEG and IPA also reduces the photocatalytic activity of NIS as a quencher for OH radical, free radical. Thank you very much. So please.
Thank you so much for a nice presentation, Professor Mohammed Bilal. So now this is a session for questions and answers. So please ask your questions from the audience. So if you have any questions, you can directly unmute yourself and ask your questions. Yes, Lukman, please.
Thank you, Professor Bilal, for your wonderful work and presentation. So I was just wondering, you just checked the effect of different salts like silver nitrate, calcium chloride, and some other salts. So, and you mentioned that chlorides they increase compared to the blank reactions. They increase the effective activity of the catalyst, while nitrates basically reduce it. So, are you sure this is basically happening because of anions, or it could be because of cations? So, like if you are using silver nitrate, so maybe you could use silver chloride to verify if it is because of the anions, or maybe you could use calcium nitrate to verify if it is because of the cations or something like this.
Okay, sir, very good question, sir. Sir, actually, these salts affect our mechanism in different ways. If I talk about the silver nitrate, so nitrates have some role in radical generation. At the same time, if we take silver nitrate in the mechanism, so nitrate radicals are formed along with the hydroxyl radical, but these nitrate radicals are not that much effective as compared to hydroxyl radical. So it actually slow down the mechanism for hydroxyl radical, which are active than these nitrate radicals. So in our study, it actually reduced the photodegradation. Silver, if we talk about the silver, so it also affects the surface charge. It also affects the interaction of dye molecule with the nickel sulfide nanoparticle. At the same case, if we talk about the sodium chloride salt, so chloride radicals are more active than nitrate radicals. So it helps us, it helps in our photodegradation mechanism, because along with the hydroxyl radical, chloride radicals also degrade our dye, which are more effective than nitrate. So these are the scenario behind these two salts in our mechanism.
Okay, so uh, I'm not very much familiar with the photocatalysis, so I have just some other curiosities. Like if we know these salts like silver nitrate and calcium chloride, these are basically in the form of ions, calcium plus two and chloride minus. So I don't know how these radicals are being generated from these sort of anions.
Yes, good question, sir. Sir, if we talk about these ions, so if they get ionized, for example, if calcium chloride get ionized, so we get calcium plus 2 and chloride minus 1. At the same time, these chloride minus 1 interact with the hydroxyl radical by giving its electron to the hydroxyl radical and make it a negative charge particle, and by itself become a radical. So it's a kind of ions interaction between these salts. So it's affect the mechanism of our degradation.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you. And there is another curiosity, like you mentioned, you performed some sort of computational study, like for the aqueous energy or something like this for the dyes. So, which software basically you used for this purpose?
It's actually PM6 software. Just these are the basic studies. Computational just tells about the interaction studies. The basic software of computational, the most basic.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I thought maybe you used Gaussian or something like this.
PCG, Gaussian,
Okay.
that one. Yes.
You used Gaussian.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
And
so much.
did you consider like the solvent effect and some other like B3LYP and some other like 321G or something like this?
Sir, actually, we all of the work are considered to distilled water. So the solvent that we use is distilled water only.
Okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for asking
Uh,
question. Good question.
Thank you so much for a nice discussion. So, is there any question from the audience? So, please. Ah, so if there is no question, then maybe I can ask maybe one or two questions. Mhm. So basically for a computational study, so what basically you want to know about? Either it's a mechanism of degradation from the dye to the CO2 and the water, or it's just the adsorption energy.
Uh, it's actually the interaction of our dye molecule with the nanoparticle surface. We just put our nanoparticle to interact with our dye at different functional group at different site, and we found from their electronic interaction that how they affect the interaction energies. So in the case, if we to look toward the azo and hydroso form, in the next slide, we attach our nanoparticle with these two sides, especially the nitrogen side, and after their electronic interaction, we found that the one form, the azo form, is the most stable form because the energy just reached to minus 2792 kilocalorie per mole. It is the most stable side. So we confirm that our nanoparticle is strongly acting to this side and actually degrade this side. So these are just the interaction energies.
So basically you want to, your particle is nickel sulfide,
Yes.
and then your dye molecule contain a azo group like nitrogen group.
So most reactive
So
groups in our dye.
yes, and then you mean this azo group has an interaction with your materials, right?
Yes.
So where is the like nature of the charges? Like your material has a positively charged or your dye has a positively charged?
Our material have a negative surface charge, our dye has a positive surface charge in the solution if
So
we add it in the
and
water.
what is the solution basically?
The solution is our natural solvent, polar solvent water.
Yeah, in the like in the water, right?
Yes.
So your material is a negatively charged.
Yes.
So you mean this nitrogen can donate the electron to the material, right?
Yes. Interaction on the basis of interaction.
No, basically interaction is based on the electrons, right?
Yes.
Like electronic structures. So from where, which functional group donates the electron to the materials? Of course, not fully transfer, but partially it has
Yes.
interaction. Interaction means so there is a movement of the electrons.
Yes.
So
Uh,
which specific which bond is donating the electron? So is there any pi bond or some sigma bond? So
Yes, in our material there are many active sites where our particle interact. We just focus on the nitrogen double bond. We actually interact our material with the sulfate part, the SO3 part, SO2 part, with the benzene rings at different places, with the nitrogen double bond, the azo group especially, which is encircled. So we found that our best part to interact our material with these surface is the azo part. And if we talk about the electron transfer, so these are actually the pi electrons in our material, which actually interacts
no.
with the material. If we come
So
toward the next slide, ESP slides,
no,
figure 14.
I have a small question. Like either this is a pi electron, your catalyst, or your dye.
It's our dye. The next
So
ESP structure, figure 14. If we look towards this diagram, this figure as a whole, the green portion tells about our nanomaterial gets around the dye, and the electronic cloud is maximum at the azo position, the green one. It's mean that the transfer of electron occur at this phase. Interaction is best at this phase.
So
Figure 14.
basically this is your dye, right?
Yes, this is our dye.
So in your dye you have this is your azo group, right?
Yes, this one is azo group.
So you mean your interaction start from here, right?
Yes, this part, yes, as well as in the benzene ring.
No, I mean, you mean this benzene ring also have an interaction with your material, right?
Yes.
So which is the most significant part? Either this is the benzene ring, azo group, or this sulfur, because here is a completely negative ion. So this can be more strongly attractive towards your material, right?
Yes, yes, it's a good question.
So
Sakib, if we look towards our material, the one which is encircled, the RB5 dye, this is actually a benzene ring. Like it's like a hexagonal ring where delocalization of pi electron is most suitable. Delocalization. So we need
which pi electron?
in the benzene like ring where azo group is present.
This mean you mean this?
Yeah, this one. So
Where
here
there's azo. So
delocalization also occurs. Delocalization, electrons movements continuously occurs.
so delocalization means there is a more stability, right? There is a
Yeah,
more.
good interaction.
I mean, no. I mean, delocalization means there is a more resonance structure, right?
Yeah, there more resonance
More
structure.
more
Electron
resonance
transfer
structure mean
occurs.
no. More resonance structure means more stability, right?
Yes.
So more stability mean no electron transfer, right?
More stability means if there is electrons are moving in the whole ring.
Then it means they are stable.
No, this one is a good question, but if you look toward the upper benzene ring, so that one is, I think that one is resonating structure where sulfate
Yeah,
groups are
no.
attached.
Basically, this question is under debate from long time.
Yes.
So basically, like here we have in the azo dye, so we have azo groups.
Yes.
So usually people think azo group has an interaction.
Yes.
So basically, in azo group, as you said, so there may be a delocalization of the bond. So there is a more resonance structure. So the compound which has a more resonance structure is more stable as compared to other one which has less, right?
Yes.
So if it has a more resonance structure, it means more stable. More stable means no electron transfer or less electron
Yes.
transfer. Then how it can donate the electron? So there should be some other active side, no?
Yes. The sulfate one and the azo groups.
So which one, according to your study, so which one is the most significant?
This one, the hydroso form, is the most stable. It's mean that
This
its
one.
interaction will be good.
Then theoretically it's not possible, right?
It seems based on energies we just interaction energies, the present upper.
So then maybe there is like here this nitrogen at the same time can have a 3 bond.
Yes.
So basically this bond cannot be shifted over there, right? No?
Yes.
So
Yes.
then here is a fixed nitrogen and this carbon bond is fixed and then this can donate the electron.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe in my I'm not so sure, but in my opinion,
Yes.
like it's not the delocalized, it's
Yes.
localized.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah. Then
I
it can.
think. Can I add something? I think
Ah,
we
yeah, yeah.
should interact our particle with the azo group present to the left side of the material, as well as we should interact our particle to the sulfate position as well as to the benzene ring, and then we will go for the interaction energy. Maybe we should find a good question, a good reason for this.
Yes, yes. Because if we have a active site like on the materials and in the dye,
Yes.
then this dye interaction, if we can find this point and then we can go to the degradation mechanism,
Yes.
then it will be like a fruitful study,
Yes. Yes. I just get
right?
the point. Yes.
Yes,
It's a
yes,
good
yes, yes.
question.
Thank you for understanding. So
Thank
it's the
thank you for
most
good
difficult
suggestion.
part for the photocatalysis, so maybe I try to make it clear. So sorry for long discussion. So if there is any other question from the audience, so please. Yes, Nafis, please.
Uh, Thank you so much for the nice discussion. I have one general question first, and maybe it's not so obvious. So, what happens to the voice of Sir Bilal? It's not like that grave sound we have just seen in the presentation.
Yeah, my student is talking to you all.
Really? I I
So
was so
so
thrilled that what
so
happened to
so
that
so
strong
so
grave sound.
yeah, so you people are surprised that where the voice gone. I am here.
Yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly,
So
exactly.
my student is
Obviously.
here to respond you all.
Okay, okay, okay. So the question would be like, firstly, so I am asking the question to the person who was just discussing the things with the Asif, and where you just mentioned about the benzene ring in this dye. Can you just point out
Benzene, there are four benzene rings.
where?
Four benzene ring. The one at the corners with the sulfate group, and the one at the top.
Where are the two? Here, the top.
All the four benzene rings are mentioned in one dye.
Okay, so just a little bit, this is just a comment.
Yes.
Maybe these are just the naphthalene groups, not just the benzene. So please don't be confused with the naphthalenes and the other aromatic compounds and the benzene.
The upper two. Yes, the upper two are naphthalene and the lower two are benzene rings.
Yes, so please make sure about these things. And my
Okay.
question is about the SEM structure you have just shown. Can we go there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here the SEM. So I'm very curious about the particle size because if you look into the SEM images of this material you have just shown, the particle size is not that so like the rigid and very organized. So what is your comment about this? Can we call them as the absolute nanoparticles if the size is also irregular and they are just like attached to the each other?
It's actually it's an agglomerated nature, and the
Mhm.
size that I have found from them is like I didn't take the size of these large crystals, the big crystals, because the size will get increased. I just take the size of the normal range particles which are mentioned in my sample.
Mhm. So can we call it as a misleading as well because you are just selecting the particles of your concern and neglecting the others?
Some there are some which are more agglomerated, which are very large. I didn't take the size of those. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So this was also my comment about this SEM. And also, if you are going for the theoretical studies, so that would be the ideal case. And I'm not sure whether this agglomerated system or the well oriented or the well shaped nanoparticles are good for your work, but the results are phenomenal. You are getting the good results, so it's a better thing.
Okay. Okay. Nafi. Thank
So,
you.
can you also give us a little bit more information about it that this agglomerated system or the nanoparticle system is the better for your work or not? As you also mentioned about the active sites about it.
Yes. Actually, during my experimental works, when I use this material, so the material shows very good, very effective results. Even it just remove it just make the solution very clear. It's mean that the material have more exposed active sites. Means the points were matching with our experimental data. Material shows very good activity.
Okay, so it's also a comment that only judging about that you are getting the good results. I'm not sure. I'm a bit curious and suspected about it, because if you are talking about the photocatalyst material, so the recombination rate is also a very important thing. And if you are getting such a different kind of particles which are agglomerated so much, so there are huge chances of getting high number of the recombination rate. So I'm not so sure about it. I hope you can understand.
Yes, I understand it. Because of its
So,
agglomerated nature.
mhm.
Yes. Actually,
So yes, yes,
your question is
please.
good that the particles show very agglomerated nature, and the recombination rate will be high, and the material will not be that much effective if we compare it with our results. Uh, but actually, the method I have also discussed it in my previous presentation, that the method that I followed for it is the chemical precipitation method, which is totally uncontrollable. Uncontrollable means that just not in a controlled environment. I have done this experiment, that's why. But the material was too much effective. I have used it many times, I have synthesized it many times. It shows the same behavior towards my dye.
So my next question would be, so do you have the results of something like without your material, like the photolysis, which we generally calls?
Yeah, yeah, it is just 5%, 4.8% removal of the dye was
Mm-hmm. 5 to 8%.
5 to 8%,
Okay.
and material, in presence of material, it was 90 plus.
Oh, okay. So, can you just conclude in the one statement? I'm not just fetching too much time. So, in one statement, you can close the conclusion like why this is so effective. Why this material is, because the nanoparticles are not so organized and well, and I'm not sure why it is so effective.
Uh, its effectiveness, maybe because of its irregular surface morphology, or we can say that it's like its irregular nature may increase the surface area and may be more effective towards dye adsorption as well as photodegradation.
No, actually, my comment is that it's not actually possible. So maybe we can discuss it later for the betterment. But because you are getting the smaller size, it's obviously is high surface to volume ratio as compared to the particles like we are watching here, like the very big sizes. So thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, is there any other questions from the audience?
My comment is to the Nafis question.
Yes.
Actually, uh, basically here the limitations comes. Uh, Normally, what we do, look, we have one SCM that's working in NAST. In Qaid Azam not working. In Peshawar, it is not working or not proper working. So what we do? What we do here in the lab, we prepare the material, we screen the dyes, we check the adsorption, we check the photocatalysis. So what the best performing catalyst against the selected dye. So we took that catalyst for and we sent for the characterization. And we what we obtained the results you see here. So you are right. The material is different, but the application and activity is different. So we agree, okay, but the limitation is what should be done. You prepare the material, you characterize it, look the particle, and you change your methodology, etc., and then you go for the photocatalysis. So these are the basically fundamental limitations which are beyond the control of us. Okay, you are right, your comment is right. Okay, so again we will be looking for a comment, what should we do, because we are going to publish this paper. Okay, so if you have any comment, then we welcome you.
Thank you so much, sir. Such a nice response and such a big-hearted response. Thank you so much.
I have a one small comment. Like, did you perform the calcination after the preparation of these materials?
No, it's without calcination.
This may be the reason. Like, you didn't like purification problem, because during the synthesis, the particles are agglomerated.
Yeah,
So
the
maybe
particle
if
were agglomerated. After
yeah, so
calcination, I have done its calcination, but I didn't use it in my studies after calcination. After calcination, the particle become powder. It was completely a powder.
yes. This is the basically this problem. If you go for a high temperature calcination like
Yes,
400 or 500, so then particle size will be smaller and more crystalline, so you can see the clear crystal there.
yes.
So yeah, in future maybe you can perform the calcination and you can see its effect.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Actually, I have used it after its calcination, but its
Mm.
effectiveness was not that much. The material that I used, it
Then
was not.
maybe the hydroxyl group on your material, so they are the active for your dye, because without calcination there are a hydroxyl capping in the metal nanoparticles.
Yes,
So then these hydroxyl group are main responsible for the adsorption and photocatalysis of your dye.
yes.
Yes, so yes, after calcination, then this material is maybe is not nickel sulfate, then it may be nickel sulfate hydroxide,
Yes, nickel hydroxide, nickel oxides may be converted to nickel oxides.
nickel hydroxides, because there is a OH capping group when we prepared through the wet synthesis method.
The chemical precipitation method, nickel
Yeah,
hydroxide.
yes, so there are a hydroxyl group usually attached, and then when we calcine, then water is removed and nickel oxide is formed.
After
And then
calcination.
yes, and then we perform a reduction in the presence of hydrogen, then it removes the oxygen, then we can get nickel sulfate, pure nickel sulfate without any oxygen.
Yes.
So maybe,
Simply,
mhm,
the method
yes,
simply was add sodium sulfide during its addition, and after its drying, we get sodium sulfide according to its experimental work.
mm,
But
oh,
I have calcinate it up to 750 degrees Celsius from the literature, and there they mentioned that the material completely transformed into nickel oxide. Means its oxidation occurs. Means
yeah,
before oxidation it was nickel sulfide. After oxidation it gets nickel oxide, nickel
yes,
sulfide and nickel oxide.
in open air, yeah, it go to nickel oxide, but like I'm last time I also asked, like I'm wondering, like do even during if you are using a water as a solvent, there are oxidant, and still like we cannot produce a highly reduced form just nickel sulfur.
Yes, only nickel. Now we cannot control like all of the things in this method, chemical precipitation method.
So basically, I'm
uh,
wondering, like people won't believe either we can produce in such an oxidative environment. Can we produce a highly reduced particle
Highly reduced particle like sodium nickel sulfide.
without? Yeah, this is a highly reduced form, like without oxygen.
uh like the method that I used.
Yeah, method is okay, but like in a commonly discussion in the
Yes,
nanoscience.
yes.
So we are using the oxidizing environment, right? There is a water.
Yes, yes, it's free
So
air.
yeah, free air and water. So even it should be the fully oxidized form, usually in hydroxide, but are in the oxide. Because even we
Yes,
have this nickel sulfur, like if we have nickel nanoparticle, we just take it into the open air, even for a few seconds, it can be nickel oxide. On the surface, it can be oxidized.
yes. Actually, if I talk about the nickel sulfide and nickel oxide, my answer will be a bit different. Nickel sulfide and nickel sulfide are too much effective, too much reactive,
Yes.
and
So
oxides are stable and not that much effective as compared to sulfide.
yes, if it's reactive, then it should be oxidized, right?
It's in sulfide. It's not that much. Oxides are not that much reactive
No,
as
no,
compared to nickel
sulfide.
sulfide. sulfide are too much reactive. From the literature, these are the
Yes.
most reactive particles.
Yes, so
And its
it
synthesis
should react
method,
with oxygen.
like you're saying that its nickel sulfide synthesis is not easy to control it in this environment.
Yes. I mean, there is oxidizing environment, so there should be some nickel oxide, nickel sulfur oxide, this kind of thing.
It's also from the literature I've confirmed, like many methods, many kind of methods for the nickel sulfide nanoparticles, they uses the same method. They didn't increase the temperature from 100 degrees Celsius, from 80 degrees Celsius at the end, at drying condition.
Okay,
And
but
the
maybe
sulfide
we
source
can.
comes, sodium sulfide source comes on the other side. From there, we get the sulfur source in a very large quantity as compared to the oxygen.
Okay, then let's maybe you can just confirm it one more time before publication, so maybe people won't believe. And if you have a strong evidence, then of course it's okay.
Okay.
Yes, so you have to cite some strong paper, then it may work.
Okay.
Then if there is any other question from the audience, if no question, then maybe we can stop here. And yes, so maybe we can stop from here from today. Yes, Professor Bilal.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. तो मतलब उस हिसाब से एक हम थीम सेलेक्ट कर देंगे और उसके ऊपर जो बाकी लोग होंगे वो उस हिसाब से चलते जाएंगे ना।
सही है।
तो आप इस बारे में क्या कहते हैं?
नहीं, ये अच्छा